Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm Gamesplanning Fresco. So it's been a year since I did my videos for Fresco. What do I think of it? Have I played it? All those questions will be answered. The reality is this game has only had 2 plays since I did that video. At least 2 plays that have been written down about. I feel like I've played this game a heck of a lot more than my Board Game Geek is showing. This year probably 2 is accurate, but before that I played it a fair bit and it's not showing any, so I need to have a look and see what's going on with that. However, having said all that, the Fresco is one of those games that I really like. I have found it difficult to get back to the table. The reason I'm finding it as one of the more difficult games to get to the table is that there's just a little bit of an element of thinkiness that goes on with this game that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And my issue is that I have the big box, which means there's a whole bunch of expansion material. Which expansions do I use? Some of the expansions get used every time. So the ones that negate the portrait painting and give you some other options on them, they usually get used. The ones that allow you to change the fresco pieces that you've coloured and change them in for something else, they also get used most of the time. However, there's also parts of it, I've tried playing this game with everything and it was crunchy and hard and hectic, and I found myself ignoring some of the stuff to be able to do other stuff. And that's really what this game comes down to, or at least the expansion material is, you don't need it all. It's just there, it's stuff. Like there's some things that you really do need. Changing the types of paint that are there, that's the first expansion. It's really important. So you've got one extra element that you're able to change into, and I think that's a really important one to include. And these bases are just, I'm kind of stuck in this spot of this stuff is the game now for me. I need to have these extra elements in there, otherwise I don't think that I would enjoy playing the game anywhere near as much as I do. I think this is a really wonderful game. I think that more people should play this game. It doesn't make my table often. I fear that's because it's a 4-player only game, or a maximum 4-player game. And so it's going to struggle to get to my table simply because I've usually got more than 4 people sitting around it, which I've discussed at length with previous games that I've done these videos for. Half of this collection from here down is 4-player. From here to here is 5-player. Only that last section is for 6 and up. And so I'm kind of limited to a quarter of my collection that I can play with larger groups. And because I usually have larger groups around me, I'm just blah. I want to play Fresco more than I do. I really like this game. I think this is such a wonderful, wonderful game. It's got enough about it to be thinky, enough about it to be thinking what is everyone else trying to do. And there's a lot of elements going on, and I find every single time I've played this game, there's been this little crunch at the end, and the last 2 turns or so where we're trying desperately to get those last few points, and so you can get ahead of the other people. There's a really cool element of if the person who's sitting at the back on the points is the person who's going to go first. And so you're balancing, how long do I sit just behind the rest of the pack until I rush away so they can't catch me. And finding that point is a really good thing to do. It's a really hard thing to do. And there's a lot of those types of elements are really good in this game. I think it's such a solid game. I think that more people should play it, more people should be totally aware of Fresco. It feels like one of those games that's kind of disappeared a little bit, which is fair enough. It was published first in 2014, so it's had a bit of legs to it, but I think that this is a game that should be on your shelf, and I really do think, look into it, find a copy of it, get yourself a copy of it. I think this is a really good, wonderful game. Even though I've only had a couple of plays of it this year, I still think that this is one of those games that should be on your shelf, that you should come to and just really get your teeth into. I think it's a stronger game than most of Board Game Geek suggests, simply because it's disappeared from our thought. So look, I'll leave it there. If you've got any games that you wish to be Gamesplayed, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.